Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia and I have popped in to share my latest project. This one is an altered book and I had seen some beautiful digitals on Etsy that were very magical and fantastical, and I decided I had to have them. And then I thought, well, what am I going to do with them? And I decided to actually make my own fairy tale book. So I chose to do an altered book. If you're interested in that process, lots of videos in YouTube land about how to do that. It's a great way for beginners to do a junk journal because you retain some of the original pages. You don't need to be sewing in signatures and trying to construct your own book. I often use them as mixed media journals, but in this instance, I decided to turn them into my own book. So image of a fairy tale castle here. I actually did that myself using an AI generator, one of those freebie ones. I painted the cover pink and put a frame around the image that I made using paper clay and a silicone mold. I've then added these filigree book corners to really give that feel of something special and an old fairy tale book. Added some silver gilding wax to the spine for a bit of interest, and also to the corners. I did also distress the book a little bit because I wanted that idea that it was an old book that had been sitting on children's bookshelves for many generations. So I've left the inside cover. It had a lot of foxing, added a book plate. Because it's me, I did also do some junk journaling elements. I had to do a little bit of layering and using lace and paper flowers. But I think it adds to that idea that it's very magical. So luckily I had a paper collection, a commercial one, and it's called Once Upon a Time, but because it's 12 by 12, the images were too big. But luckily there was a little bit of advertising on the back and the front, and I was able to fussy cut that and use that. So both of those images come from there. Once upon a time in a land far, far away. And that idea of the land comes from the papers that I've used in the background, and that's a set from Etsy. I will leave a link to that in the description box. So I liked these. They were very magical. They were very watercolory, very soft. So it's not a real place. It's an imagined place like you would find in an actual fairy tale book. I did do a couple of little pockets and did this card to introduce my characters, who are all animals. This is also an Etsy digital, and I will leave a link to that shop as well. Absolutely stunning images. So there are a couple of little writing spots, but generally it's a book to be looked at and enjoyed. So how beautiful is this? And again, a little pocket which I've decorated. And I did do a side loading pocket here, and there's an envelope, an envelope that I didn't glue down. That's part of the kit that these pages came from. I did have to think to myself, how are we getting to the castle? And I think because I'd seen a hot air balloon out on one of my walks a couple of weeks ago, that idea was stuck in my head. So I thought, why not? So found this image and did a little bit of glitter on there, and then reduced it and used it here to give that idea that you're going up into the sky. Absolutely love this page. I love the mountains in the background. In the foreground, there's forest, a magical forest, and these pretty elements. The sky on the side here, so I fussy cut this page. Then when you open it, more sky, that balloon, and the castle in the sky. So once upon a time in a land far, far away, there lived, and you're building suspense. And because I like interactive elements, I made this page. this is such a simple thing to do. Amethyst Bloom has one that I saw recently, and I've also seen Ava from Bohemian Crafting, and lots of card makers use this idea. So it's very simple. You just use two images back to back, run some sewing thread, glue that in between them, and then use a cutout, and it will just move. So in my castle that is in a land far, far away, there lived a group of very elegant friends. And I just love this swan. How beautiful is that? And her friend over here, the lioness, in the most magnificent gown. They enjoyed dressing up and holding parties, visiting Paris, and look at this beautiful gentleman. Musical soirees, and of course there's a rabbit playing the violin, why not? These images of the inside of the castle came from this same digital collection. Some, like Eloise, enjoyed writing poetry, and how wonderful is she? And over here there's a desk with some chairs and a bookcase and some beautiful paintings. Others enjoyed reading quietly in the library. How distinguished is this gentleman? And the image of the library. I was very lucky that these images went so well with the background pages. The colours were perfect. In summer, and here I did a little cutout, see. They wandered in the gardens and had picnics in the lake. No, not in the lake, by the lake. All in all, life was rather splendid. And that is the end of my little book. So I had this quote, which I'd used before when I've done, I think it was a fairy journal. Someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. C.S. Lewis. So I hope that you've enjoyed my fairy tale, or my take on the traditional fairy tale. Would love it if you gave me a like or left a comment. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Always happy to answer questions. Thanks for watching.